This is Chris Morrow at Comic-Con at Home. My home is in San Diego. I'm in my backyard. I'm with the artist Scott Shaw. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Where's your home?
I live in Reseda, California, in the fabulous San Fernando Valley, which was so praised in Ghostbusters too.
Oh. Tell me about your panel. How did it go?
Well, it was a one-man panel. It wasn't a panel at all. It was just me. But I mean, it went fine. I'd never done it without an audience, but I've been doing this since the mid-'70s at Comic-Con. And even though I had a kind of a slightly new version, I always try to mix up the stuff I have in the shows. So I just kind of pressed ahead. And even though I went over my time, I was really relieved that they didn't clip the end of it off. But I think I've gotten, I don't know, a couple of thousand views now. And I'm working on a book that's going to be out. It was supposed to be out this year. It's going to be out whenever the tariff issues and printing issues and virus issues are gone. But now people will be able to see what this actually is that have never been to Comic-Con, including the guy that's writing the introduction for the book. And it's Svengoolie is writing the introduction, because I figure he does with monster movies what I do with comic books. So.
How many times have you been to Comic-Con?
I've been to every one, even the little one-day mini-con. I was one of the guys that helped start it. But I missed the one in 2015 because I shattered my ankle. And I was out of the hospital about 2 days before, but there was absolutely no way I was gonna, just even surviving Comic-Con bathrooms would have been a disaster. So I think I made the right choice, but I still really regret it. There was nothing more frustrating than watching people from ESPN, good-looking young women who never looked at a comic in their life suddenly cooing about Captain America #1. It was kind of like, just leave us alone. This is for weirdos, not for you. It was so obvious, and I don't know why, but it just drives me crazy. I'm glad this is all popular now, but at the same time, I kind of feel like the way cultures feel appropriated now. It's like, it's actually cool to be able to say, who Jack Kirby was. I used to get beaten up for that,
It's interesting that you talk about that. I mean, it's my 19th year covering Comic-Con. And do you find that when you went to the Comic-Con online panel versus being in person, that you were able to capture the audience?
I never worry about capturing the audience. I also, when I'm doing Oddball Comics, I kind of get the vibe of the audience and then kind of adjust the pacing. So sometimes once I'm about halfway in, now that they've seen kind of how I analyze and deconstruct these covers, I kind of let them do it for themselves a little bit. But here I knew that I just had to press on. It was very much like doing Quick Draw with Sergio Aragones and Mark Evanier, because, we didn't do it because of the tech problems, but quite honestly, we're up there. We're so busy trying to come up with ideas. We don't know or care who they're laughing at or what's going on, because we're too busy just sweating it, trying to be funny. And that's kind of the same way I am doing this. I mean, I have no script. This is all stuff that I just know. I wish I could trade it in for something useful, but it's working for me,
What's your routine when you're going to Comic-Con?
My routine, first thing I do is I use the bathroom, because it's the only time I will want to. I mean, if I can do it like at 8 o'clock in the morning, I know it's like, wow, this is the cleanest place in San Diego. And I'm sure now it is too, but for whole different reasons. But, I usually walk around as much of my end of the exhibit hall as I can, or take my scooter or whatever, and see who my friends are that are there, and kind of we all get set up. We help each other get set up, usually the night before. And that's kind of when I first get there, is usually probably around noon on Wednesday. But it's amazing, because now preview night's as busy as any day. I mean, it's packed. People aren't spending money, but they're just checking everything out. So that's still good. I mean, you can see people. And of course, they always know where to find me because I think I've been at the same table next to Sergio for at least 20 years.
Is your creativity flowing during the pandemic?
Oh, I mean, I hate to say this because I know a lot of people are in big trouble or at least so distracted they can't do their job even if they do their job at home. But between being a cartoonist and having worked at home for the last 20 years, I used to work for the studios occasionally, and I worked at an ad agency for a long time. But, and then of course, being, stuck here with my foot, and then I had to have it taken off a couple of years ago, so that kept me at home even more. So, my routine here hasn't changed at all. I'm still writing and drawing. I'm finishing up a children's book. I've got 4 books out there being pitched. I'm doing commissions. I'm writing an article today about when I used to work at the San Diego Zoo for Retrofan magazine. So, I mean, I'm kind of swamped. I mean, it's quite good because one of my best friends just died a few days ago. He used to come to Comic-Con all the time, a guy named Danny Necrosis, who was a letterer and a colorist. So it's been good too. That's kind of been, he wasn't a COVID thing, but still it's it's nice because it takes my mind off of that too.
What do you, is this your desk right here? And
Oh
this
yeah.
is where all your work is?
Yeah, this is where it has to happen.
Anything you could
I
show
don't have
us?
any place else here. I'm sorry?
Anything you could show us that you've been working on?
Yeah, actually, it'll probably be a collapse here, but here, this is something, I don't know if you can, how close do I show this there?
I can see it.
This is from a children's book I've been drawing called Maroon Lagoon 2. It's a sequel to one I did a couple of years ago. And for that matter, let me show you a couple Oddball comics I just got in the mail yesterday.
Great.
Here's a good one. It's Dagwood, and he's a human dollar bill running away from his family. I mean, this is surreal. But you had to liven up Dagwood somehow. It wouldn't just be those giant sandwiches. And then I got this cool Life with Archie, where it doesn't even look like an Archie comic. It's like they're having a Western adventure out there. It's actually a pretty good cover for an Archie comic. But I like it when you think you know what the genre is and then they try something completely outside of it. That's when it gets my attention. So this is the sort of stuff. I mean, I got a dinosaur comic based on one of Ray Harryhausen's earliest films. Like, this is really weird. I love little Lulu, but what the hell she's doing in Africa, I don't know. Tubby's up there licking the ice because there's no food to eat. But anyway, it comes to me, I don't have to go to the comic shop. So, I'm disgustingly happy right here in my nest. I hate to admit it, but that's what most cartoonists do. And because we like our jobs, we don't feel, really pushed to do them. It's like, that's what we want to do.
Do you have any advice for someone who wants to be a cartoonist?
Well, just be a cartoonist. I mean, I hate to say that. I mean, that sounds so flip, but nowadays I kind of hate to tell kids, yes, if you get good, you can be in the business, because it's much harder to get in the business now than when I was a kid. Now it's like being a rock star. And unfortunately, what kids don't realize, it is exactly like being a rock star. Then if you're popular, you're unpopular within about 3 years, because comics are constantly moving on for the next big thing. But because I did funny comics, I never got sidelined because nobody in comics wanted to do funny comics, but a few of us. But what I tell kids is just draw for fun. Draw every day. Draw for your parents. Draw for your friends. Make drawings about the teacher and give them to your friends. Make birthday cards for your parents and your siblings and stuff. And just enjoy the experience of expressing yourself. And if it works out, and if you wind up doing comic books or comic strips or designing fashion or whatever, you follow your passion. But, there's no guarantee on anything, but at least if you don't have that expectation, then you wouldn't have felt you wasted your time because you'll still dig doing it. That would be my blanket advice to everybody. Whether you can draw or not, stick figures are good too.
Scott Shaw, thank you for your time. I'm Chris Morrow, Comic-Con at home in my backyard in San Diego.
Thanks, Chris.
San Diego!